guys, it's Lindsay. We are going to do our card reading for water signs in March. As always, if any of these readings don't align for you, please take only what you need and leave the rest. This is a group reading, so not every message is going to be for every person, and it is up to you to use your intuition to decide whether it is or not. We're going to start with the general reading. Off the top, we have the Hierophant. And what I was hearing as I was tapping in was, you are thirsty, water signs. You are thirsty in the month of March. And we have the Page of Cups. Cups has to do with emotions. The Page is like someone who is still learning, so they are not the Knight, they are not the King. They still have quite a bit to learn. And this is specifically around emotions, but the way it's coming through in March is that you guys are thirsty, water signs. And we have the Ten of Wands, and the interesting thing about the Ten of Wands here, so Wands has to do with fire. I'm looking specifically at how desolate the background is, but I am also looking at the path that they are following up, right? So they're moving from this desolate background into this space beyond the mountain, which we can't see yet, right? And that we're hoping is green. And the same thing with the Hierophant. So we're moving from the bottom of the stairs to the top of the stairs, and you can't really see what's at the top of the stairs except for light, because we're not there yet, okay? So this is this energy that, excuse me, that is coming through in March for the water signs. It's that you're thirsty and you are changing direction. You are moving up. You are moving into different spaces that you can't quite see yet, okay? You have an idea of where you're going, but you can't actually physically see it yet, okay? And we're going to start with Pisces. Pisces in the month of March. Spirit, Pisces in the month of March. Oops. There has been some sort of blockade for you recently, Pisces. So you see this fence that's here. This is the Nine of Wands. Again, Wands has to do with fire. And you see she's holding a torch, and she's looking in front of her. She's looking ahead of her, but she's blocked by this fence. Now, the interesting thing about this fence is that it's not a really good fence. If you notice, the fence is kind of, it's like she could kick it over if she really wanted to, but she isn't, okay? And so for you, Pisces, the realization that's coming in here in March is that you've been putting yourself behind a fence that wasn't really there at all, okay? You've been boxing yourself in, you've been gating yourself in, and it wasn't really there at all. And the image that I'm getting, so the image that I'm getting is like a horse in a pen, that the fence is short, but the horse like is not realizing that they can just jump the fence, okay? Horses have been coming in a lot recently, so if you are a horse person, that's just confirmation. But the horse is larger than the fence, right? And it doesn't realize it can jump the fence, but eventually it's gonna pick up on that. Oh, I can actually escape. This is not, it's going to back up and it's going to take a running leap and it's just going to go right over the fence. And that's where we are for you in March, Pisces. You're finally seeing that that thing blocking you wasn't really that big of a deal at all. It wasn't that big of a thing. And you were allowing yourself to be quite literally cut off at the knees. Like if you look, the fence quite literally cuts off at the knees. And you've been allowing yourself to be cut off at the knees, but now you're finally in March seeing that there's more potential, more space for you to actually be beyond what has been holding you back, okay? And the interesting thing about the World card, so the World has to do with, it's a major arcana card, and it has to do with full closure of a cycle, right? So you see her in the middle of the circles, and the light is coming up through her head space, right? So this is very much spiritually guided time for you to move beyond these blockages that you thought were there that are no longer there. And you're really excited about it, is the way it's coming in. There's also this other thing that I'm being drawn to specifically, Pisces. If you notice that her shoulder is kind of exposed, And the rest of her is covered, but her shoulders exposed. So part of what has been blocking you is like you shouldering the weight of others, okay? Those people around you, very close around you, specifically shouldering the emotional weight. Because remember, we were talking about the Page of Cups and how he needs to learn about his emotions. And I think a lot of that is you shouldering the emotions of other people who don't know how to handle their emotions. And you've been realizing that is what is holding you back, right? You're taking on the weight of others who don't know how to handle your emotions, and that's not really, it's not in your way, right? It has nothing to truly do with you. You're not there to hold their emotions if they are fully grown adults. So now you're realizing that, you know, you can kick this fence down. You can be on your way, basically, is the way it's coming through, and we're talking about the world again. So you're going to be receiving some very deep insight. Pisces, if you haven't been already, you're having a lot of very strong intuitive hits about where you're going next, and you are being guided to the next step, okay? So the thing here right now is to be open to the intuition, to be less about pushing ahead past that fence. It's more about being guided through the intuition. I'm also, again, being drawn to like the knees and the thigh area. So you see the color yellow along her dress. It's hitting just above the knees into the thigh area. There's something specifically for someone who has either, it's not knee problems, but it may be like between the knee and the hips. Like it's like difficulty bearing like weight in the legs is what I'm getting. And so the other message that's coming through is strengthening that area of the body so it'll hold up the rest of your body. Because what I'm also seeing is someone who doesn't like sit appropriately because they're not strong in their lower quadrant. So working on strengthening your legs specifically is going to help you sit and stand straight, because it's also about, this next phase of your life is also about presence and how you present yourself. I'm hearing present. And not saying, you know, put on a front or anything, but like going into a room confidently, moving into the next phase of your life confidently. And it all starts with the physical body, right? And how you hold yourself in the physical body and how you conduct yourself in the physical body. And the way it's coming through again, as I said, is that strengthening of the lower quadrant, specifically the thighs and the knees. And if you have any issue there, you know, working with someone who would know how to handle that, right? Okay, and one more card for Pisces. We have the Moon, which is what is hidden, is intuition. I really want you to work around your dreams, Pisces. As I said, you're going to be getting a lot of intuitive hits, but for you, it's going to be specifically around dream work. So writing down your dreams, writing down any weird scenarios in your dreams, and being as specific as possible. And the best way to do this is as soon as you wake up in the morning, try to capture all those very specific things in your dreams and write them down as quickly as possible, because, you know, an hour later or whatever, you'll forget the specifics. And what I'm hearing for you, Pisces, it's very important for you to remember your specifics right now in your dreams, because it is where you're going to be guided through those very specific messages. Especially if I'm hearing of somebody or something, like it says something in a dream and there's a message with like words in it, or they say something, write down what is said in the dream, okay? Now we are going into, I almost said Aquarius. It's so funny, but Aquarius is not a water sign. Obviously, it's an air sign, but Aquarius, we are the water bearers, right? We hold the water jug. But we are going into Cancer. Okay, Queen of Pentacles, Cancer. So your specific block that we're talking about, the fence that actually does not block you, right? Cancer is around your money. So Pentacles has to do with money, and you are finally seeing that your blocks around your money are all from here, right? They're in the head. And you actually have a lot more opportunity than you think you have. And you have to get around these blocks around your money in your mind, okay? This judgment that you have, this preconceived notion of your earnings and how you're going to earn, okay? And that's kind of falling apart in March. I'm hearing something with a deal. Some kind of deal is happening. So some type of contract or something. Something that you've been waiting for a while. And this is this is interesting because this is coming. The Lovers is coming in, but it's not coming in as romance. What I'm hearing is like a sweetheart deal. Okay, so it's a deal around your money that is being made with someone who you have good connection to, who you have a really solid and strong connection in, like shared interests with. It's not about romance, it's about the sweetheart deal around the money. And that's what's coming through in March for you, Cancer, is that sweetheart deal. There's also something in the same way we're talking about Pisces having to strengthen their legs. You specifically are being drawn to the arms and the shoulders. So your shoulders specifically, Cancer, you have to do strengthening work around the shoulder area and also opening work. So if you see the way that this spirit kind of is embodied with their arms fully extended, right? So that's what we're looking for, is that kind of extension and movement in the shoulder joints and strength in the shoulder joints is what I'm seeing. Because in the same way that Pisces needs to strengthen their lower half so they sit up, you need to open your shoulders so that your chest is open, your heart and your money are connected, right? We were talking about the sweetheart deal, that love energy around the money, and you have to open your heart to receiving the money, okay? Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Scorpio for March 2026. I swear to God, I said 2025. My brain is just like, we're in a new year. It's 2026. Scorpio. And it's interesting that I was stuck on 2025, but I feel in many ways, Scorpio, this is part of what's going through your mind and the fact that's holding you back. Something happened in 2025 specifically that is holding you up around your creation, around your ability to create, and you've been letting it block you. So you see, like, this is her vibe. She's following the moon cycles. She's just vibing with the creativity, and she's getting things done. It literally is like me. Like in this chair. But it's she's just on a vibe, right? And she's creative, and I feel like there's something specifically, Scorpio, with you feeling blocked in your creativity, and you're being brought, oh my God, this is crazy. Each of the water signs has a different area of the body that I'm like being called to. And for you, Scorpio, it's actually the sacral chakra. So that's the center of creativity and working with like the reproductive organs, the sacral chakra, the fire energy. But for you, it's interesting because it's more of a returning to that energy. It's not like turning the fire up or anything like that. It's reconnecting with the very basics of your creativity. And what I'm seeing is it's like scribbling on a paper. It's you've been having trouble connecting with yourself creatively, but you're trying to go like right into the really intense master work or whatever, you know, around whatever it is that you've mastered or you are mastering, right? And what I'm actually seeing is going back to basics for you, Scorpio, around your creativity and starting back from the top. Not saying like relearning everything you already know, but reintroducing yourself to your art, to your creativity through the very basic stuff. So that can look like, you know, figure drawing, very basic figure drawing. It can look like, you know, basic music styles, nothing anything, because there's something very nothing anything complicated. Now here's the other thing, I didn't finish that thought. I went on without finishing that sentence, and that's what it feels like in your creativity, Scorpio, is that you are jumping on to the next level without properly finishing the sentence around your creativity, without closing out around your creativity. And the message coming in is you need to go back to the start and really just kind of work your way in from the basics, okay? As I said, you know, basic like keystrokes, like if you're learning piano or if you've learned piano, you know it. Start from the beginning and let it come back to you that way instead of going right into like the high-end like master level stuff, right? So people who truly master an art, they will always go back to the basics, right? Because they know that you have to continuously keep that foundation, right, in order to build up and have it hold. So back to the basics for you, Scorpio, is going to be very important in March around your creativity, going back to the basics, like literally taking a beginner's class, or, you know, just doing the beginning styles, as I said, figure drawing, or, you know, like working on the color wheel, or whatever it is that would reintroduce you to your art from the beginning, just so you're not putting so much pressure on yourself to have a master level complete, right? You're going to take it from the beginning, from the baby steps, and you're going to relearn. And I would also recommend, the way this is coming through, there's something around getting beginner books. If you go to, say, like a bookstore and they have a couple beginner books, literally just picking them up and flipping through them to see, because there's like little information, there's more stuff that you can learn that you maybe don't even know that you don't know, right? And that's going to be helpful for you in this next phase, because the creativity is going to be applied into your greater life to move you forward in your life. And I'm saying this because I have the Chariot, right? So the Chariot's about moving forward, and you need that foundation, that basic foundation, to move forward at this point and stop jumping directly into the mastery level, because that's really where you're losing it, is like, I need to be at this level, and you need to take it down and come in here, right? Come in a little lower and work your way back up. And I don't think it's going to be as much work as you think it's going to be. And it's actually going to be, we have the King of Wands. It's actually going to be quite enjoyable for you, because it's going to help you remember why you have your creativity, why you love it so much, instead of putting all that pressure again on having a masterpiece, right? So that's what we're looking for at, that's what we are looking at for the water signs in March. My name is Lindsey Rose. This is Storyteller Tarot. If you would like your own personal reading, you can check out the links. I also have all my other links in bio. Otherwise, I wish you guys well.